everyone, this is the first movie for Excel Chapter 3, Pause and Practice Number 1. I think you're going to really like this chapter, especially after the last chapter, which was pretty intense. This chapter is really about making charts and then how to edit them, make them look really professional. So hopefully you'll find it a little bit refreshing after the last chapter. One of the things, what do you use charts for? Well, you use it to represent data in a picture format so that you can quickly get a grasp on trends and see how things are doing, like in comparison to each other. I think one of the hard things about charts is to know which kind of chart you want. So normally if you're looking at percentages of a whole, you use a pie chart. So like if you had 10 salesmen and you wanted to compare their sales for the month, you could use a pie chart, and each salesman would be a slice, so you could see the people with the big slices, small slices, this kind of thing. If you're looking at something over time, usually that would be a column chart or a line chart where your x-axis at the bottom might be a time element so that you could see that. And then we're going to also explore some different ones. So we'll talk about those as we do them. I'm in Blackboard in lesson Excel Chapter 3 assignments. Looking that we have 3 pause and practices, so we're going to end this with a 3, and we do start with the start file. So I'm going to click that and download that and open that up for us. Okay, so there is our Paradise Lakes, right? So we have two different tabs. We're going to spend a lot of time in the Cass Lake, but we will do a chart out of revenue, kind of a fun chart. Okay, so if we just kind of analyze our data here, we have our revenue categories, which we're used to, and our expenses, quarter 2, quarter 3, and then the 2-quarter total, right, for both revenue and expenses. And now we have this new line in here that's net income, which is our total revenue minus total expenses to figure out what our net income is, right? Because this would be your gross, but you know, you got to pay your bills, so this is what was left. Okay, so let's see what our first chart's going to be. Our first one is we want to select A4 through D8. So let's see what we're doing. We are including the labels of category and the months, but we're only doing quarter 2, and notice we leave out the totals. Most of the time, 99% of the time, you either do the inside data or the totals. You don't do them both. Now, we're going to do a chart that's going to have both, but it's going to have 2 y-axes. So on the same axis, you would never put the detail and the totals because it would skew your data. So with this selected, I want you to look at this little button that comes up. This is the quick analysis, and so we're going to just click that. It brings up this quick analysis bar, and we don't want to do formatting, we want to do charts. So we're going to click on charts, and we want to do a clustered column. So that's this one, right? Clustered column. This is a bar, so this is a clustered column. So we're going to click on that, and boom, it's going to make it. That was pretty simple, right? Hardest thing was just defining what our data is going to be. But we wanted to see by revenue category each of the month's income, and that's what we're seeing. So if we look at this across our x-axis, we have April, May, and June. We have those month elements, and then the bars are represented by the revenue categories. So blue is room and cabin, excursions, spa services, and purchases, right? So you can really see in June that room and cabin really went up, right? Which if we look at the data, it bears out, right? 61 compared to 35 and 27. Overall, June is a much better month, which would make sense in a resort. So right now, it's right on top of our data, right? So with the across with the arrowheads. Remember, that's the move. We're going to position this. So we're going to pull it down here, snug that little left corner in A20, and then we're going to go down to this bottom corner and move to the draw handles and get the arrow that's got, it's like at an angle and there's just 2 arrows. So we're going to grab this and put it all the way out to H35. So we're going to fit it right in that space. So we made it as wide as the data here, and then we put it so that we could see it on the screen. So that's cool. We're going to go ahead and save it. I haven't renamed this yet, so let's save this. And remember, it's going to be your initials, PP, Excel. This is chapter 3, pause and practice. There's going to be 3 of them, so we're going to end it with a 3. And we won't have to worry about renaming it. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is make sure that we have our chart selected, and we're going to work on doing a change in layout. So if we look at our ribbon, we now have a chart tools with the design and format. And so here's a big chart style area. Here's a quick layout. And then, so you want to just pay attention to whether they're asking you to change a style or a layout, okay? So right now we're going to do a layout, and that puts things in like, where is the legend? Is there a legend? Do we have lines behind it? Is there a title? Where's the title? That kind of thing. The layout of and we're going to do layout 3. So this one. Okay. So it looks a little more spread apart, right? And do a save. So now let's do another chart. So on this one, we are going to chart the revenue categories, right? And then the 3rd quarter, right? So it's like this, but we got to skip over the 2nd quarter and get the 3rd quarter. So we're going to select starting at A4 through A8. But now I got to go over here to select. So remember what key we use? The control key allows us to select non-adjacent areas. So I'm going to select July through September down to the shop purchase. So A4 through A8 and E4 through G8. So there's 2 non-adjacent areas that we want to chart. And then we're going to do it a different way. We're not going to do the little thing at the corner. We're going to come up here to insert, and then if we look at charts, let's go to recommended and see what Excel thinks would be a good chart for what we have selected. So I'm going to do recommended charts, and as you move through here, it'll tell you right here what kind of chart that is. We want a clustered bar, so that's that first one. We're going to go ahead and say OK, and it put that chart right on top of it. Well, I want to take this chart and move it to a chart sheet. So you should be in the design tab. If you're not, go to Chart Tools Design and say Move Chart. So we're going to put it in its own new sheet, and we want to name that sheet right here. We're going to call it QTR3, quarter 3. So now that chart, instead of being on Cass Lake like our quarter 2 was, it's in its own tab, which is considered a chart tab, a chart sheet. Okay, so make sure that your chart is selected, and now we want to change the style, not the layout, the style, and that's the colors and background colors and those type of things. We want style 7. So it's this one right here. It's got a dark background. Okay, so that's good. That makes it stand out a little better. Okay, so let's do File, Print, and you're going to see it now. Of course, we would really want to change this chart title. Here we have the dollars and the categories where the bars in this case are the months, right? On our other one, right, the bars are the type of purchase or the type of the category. In this one, the bar is the month within the category. So the axis is the category. So they're grouped by category. This one, it's grouped by month. Okay, just need to pay attention to that. Alrighty, so I'm going to save this, and let's see. I think we're done with that one. So we're done with chapter 3, first pause and practice. I told you it's going to be a lot lighter than the last chapter, but a lot of fun. So, all right, thank you.